Namaste, hello, and welcome to Bloom. Bloom is the brainchild of Miss Payal Irani. Bloom is a flower that has blossomed and is spreading its fragrance across the globe. Bloom is into physical and mental wellness, training, speaking engagement, and creating signature workshops for corporates, organizations, and individuals who want to take themselves to the next level. We at Bloom will be catering to each and every aspect of an individual where we will be creating masterpieces through our signature programs. Bloom has a powerful and a dynamic team which has been handpicked. They are the who's who in their respective domains and are industry veterans having an accumulated 200 plus years of experience. We at Bloom strongly believe in co creation, collaboration, and teamwork. I invite each and every one of you to be a part of Bloom where together we grow and as Bloom blossoms, it creates ripples the world over. Let me introduce my co-host, Mr. K.V. Premraj. Premraj is a futurist and he speaks on leadership and management. He is the co-author of three books, all of which hit the number one best-selling spot on Amazon. He has spent 37 years in the banking and financial services sector with experiences in both public and private sector banks. He was the CEO of the BPO arm of a leading private sector bank. Premraj hails from Mumbai and he resides with his wife, his son, his daughter-in-law, mother-in-law, and as he calls it, his pet cat-in-law. I request Premraj to introduce our guest today and take this session forward. Over to you, Premraj.
Thank you, Deepak. Thank you for that very kind and flattering introduction. We have on the show today Dr. Bunny Yadav, who is one of the most experienced and consistent car rally drivers in India. She has carved a niche for herself in this predominantly male sport. Dr. Bunny is India's fastest woman rally racer. She was a national autocross champion for women in 2019 and 18. She is the only woman rally driver to win majorly all cross-country rallies held in India from the women's category. And she is the only woman to win all major titles in the women's category in a year. When she is not burning the tracks, she is an active facilitator for women empowerment and equal rights. She has initiated an event specially for acid attack survivors. She is also a passionate animal lover, foster caring 10 dogs, 8 cats, and 2 birds. Her journey is just not impressive, but inspiring. Let's know more from the person herself. Welcome to the show, Dr. Bunny Yadav.
A very good afternoon to all of you, and thank you so much for having me over on the Bloom Show. It's a pleasure to meet all the bloomers here. And thank you, Payalji, Premrajji, and Deepakji for that huge introduction which you've given. And love to interact with all of you. Life is a
Here
journey.
we go. Yeah. Car
So life
racing.
is a journey.
Yeah, life's a journey.
And we all have to live it our way. We choose our own steps, how we want to make it. Some just pass through it. Some want to make a mark for it. And I think I chose to make a mark for myself. I think that spark is there in all of us. We just have to look within us. And frankly to say, all of you are also making your marks. And that's why the Bloom team is here. And that's why we are on this talk show. What I want to say actually is that I loved racing always. As a child, speed always enthralled me. It made me think why my dad can drive fast and I am still not being able to drive. And I wanted to challenge myself that, see, if my dad can drive that fast, then I also need to beat him at it. I want to show my father that I'm a very good driver and there is no such thing that girls can't drive. It is predominantly a male sport, yes, but the car does not know who the driver is. The car does not know my gender. And that's what the beauty of it is. And that's how I chose that I wanted to enter this sport. Though I chose it at a very late stage in life when most of the sport people retire. I started it at the age of 43. Although my dream, I nurtured it at the age of 13. But my journey from thinking of being a rally driver to actually culminating it to becoming a rally driver was after a gap of 30 years. The wait was long, but it has been very, very enriching. And I think all of us should try and look for that spark inside and live our dreams. There is really nothing which we cannot achieve if we are actually dedicated to that one thought. So, Bani in itself is a person who perseveres and doesn't let go of a thought or a process which comes into her mind. And I think that is the reason why I am today a rally racer. Though being a Women's Day, I would also like to wish all of us a very happy Women's Day. But having said that, I also want to say that if I am here, it is thanks to my better half, my spouse, my husband, Suresh. Without him, it would not have been possible. So it is always a journey which is together. And we all stand together as a family, as a team, and that's how a dream can actually be achieved. And I think I would now hand it over to Premraj ji to take it forward.
Thank you. That was inspiring the way you put it.
Thank you.
See, car racing is a normal choice of profession for women in India. How did you gravitate to it? And also let us know some of the high points, the salient points of your racing career.
Yes, you are very, very right. It's not a normal profession choice, not only for women, but also for men, because it's not really a sport which is a mass sport. It has a very niche kind of people who do it till now, because it's one of the very expensive sports also. But there is a drive, a passion which levitates you towards that side. And I think choosing that was one of the reasons, because I wanted to show not only to the world, but to myself that I am a good racer, I'm a good driver, and there is no such thing that it's just a man's sport. And I think the sport chose me rather than me choosing that sport. The cars were always there at home. I could always see my dad tinkering with the cars, doing some kind of modification. And now he's nearly 80, but still he's a very good driver. And I think my inspiration was always my father, because I saw him driving always in such a deft style that it impressed me by his control over the car, how he always wanted to do something new into the car and modify it further. So it was always something which I was seeing of the automobiles. And I think it came naturally to me in the genes from my parents that speed enthralled me. Yes, in India, very few women drivers are there. and there is hardly any money in this sport. So it's more as a passion which we do it rather than as a career choice. Although now the government has started to recognize motorsports as a proper sport, but it's still in its infancy. It is taking its baby steps to get recognized further and have more people join in. It will take its time, and till then, I think more and more people, in whatever ways, they keep joining in the sport to make it bigger and make it grow. And I think that's the ideal way for the sport to get recognized as more and more people start to take it up, even though finances are always a big question mark. But even though the sport will keep pulling in more people.
Let's hope this becomes a mass sport very, very soon.
Very soon. Hope so.
Would you mind sharing some of the high points of your racing career?
There are, see, every race is always a very good race. It is always a high point. And I take up every race as my last race. So I give it my best shot. But yes, when you become the national champion, autocross champion, it is a very big high point. It also defies the factor that you are at that age where your competitors are half your age. So that really is one of the biggest high points. And when I'm rallying, it is always with 90% of the people who are nearly half my age. Besides that, winning the Asia Cup, Asia Pacific Rally Cup in the Coffee Day Rally in 2015 in the women's category was a big high for me. Coming an overall second in Rally the North in the IRC in 2016 again was a big high for me, because till date no woman had actually come overall second in a rally like IRC. So these are some of the high points. But having said that, I would say every rally is a high point for me.
Really a checkered career.
Yes.
For our benefit, can you please let us know the modalities of car racing and how is the scoring done to determine a winner? And how does the segregation of male and female racers happen?
Car racing, in terms that I would start backwards. There is the women and the men category is basically to promote women to come into the sport. As such, it is just for encouraging women, but we all drive with the male drivers, and our categories are just to promote women into racing. So we are all competing with the men in their categories, where there are various categories based on your car modifications and your experience also. So there are various ways where you can do your scoring. There are various formats of racing. So the formats which I follow are the extreme, I do the autocross, I do the TSD. So these formats, I also do the IRC. So every format has a different kind of scoring. So in a TSD, that's a time speed distance. So you drive slow on a given time speed, and you have to cover a particular distance. So there, the speed or going fast is not the criteria. Whereas if you do a autocross event, or you do a cross country event, or you do a IRC event, their speed is what matters. The faster you finish that stage from point A to point B, that is what matters. So how fast you are with the car without taking up any penalties, that is how the scoring is done. And primarily that is the scoring format for 99% of the races or rallies which happen, leaving aside the TSD format. And as far as preparation of the car is concerned, there is a lot which goes into the preparation of a car, how you strengthen the car, how good your engine is, what are the kind of modifications you do to enhance the speed or the power of the car. Besides that, the strengthening of the car is very important, because when you do rally a race, the car takes a lot of beating. So your suspensions have to be really strong, and a lot of strengthening of the car overall in the build of the car is done so that it does not have a breakdown. But still, there are obviously, it's a machinery. There are breakdowns which happen. There are a lot of things which take place where you have to end the rally midway. And we all rally drivers really put in a lot of effort to make that car in such a way that it does not break down. So a lot of efforts. You have a complete service team which looks after it and takes care of your vehicle, and that everything is in place. So I think the preparation in itself is a huge thing which happens before the rally.
Fascinating journey, fascinating, really fascinating. And thanks for sharing the small nuggets with us.
Thank you.
Believe in racing, it is not only your skills that matter, but you need to outwit the opposition too. Can you relate an incident when you played hard and won?
So let me also tell you that when you are a woman on the tracks, there is a lot of bias which happens, and people don't really take it easy that a woman is there competing against you. But yes, there are also instances where a lot of men come and help you, support you, guide you. So it's always a very thin line of what happens in terms of helping you and not supporting you. Yes, there have been instances where I have raced really hard onto the track. So I can very easily remember one of the autocross events which happened here in Gurgaon. And I was actually competing with one of the very veteran drivers. And everybody was actually looking at how I will perform there. All eyes were there. And thankfully, I managed to pull it off. I was really, really focused, because when you are on the tracks, I just look at the finish line. There is nothing else what matters to me. Who is in the next car besides me, racing, competing, does not make a difference to me. I have to reach the finish line the fastest, and that is what the final thing is. So no deviation. I am in sync with my car, and that's the end of the story. And in that particular race, yes, I finished the finish line first. I crossed the finish line first, and there was really a lot of cheering and clapping which happened, because nobody had really expected me to beat that veteran driver.
Love that competitive spirit in you and the streak in you, the winning streak, the killer instinct that you display.
Thank you.
And it's also happy to know that you mentioned chivalry is still not dead.
Yes, chivalry is still not dead. Yes, we find that in motorsports, and there are all kinds of people everywhere, not in motorsports, but everywhere in general. But yes, chivalry is not dead.
Role models who inspire you and why?
Frankly, I would just say there is no really role model for me. The person who inspired me the most is my father. Because of him, I took up that challenge that I want to race, and I want to show that I am a very good driver, and there is no such thing as a girl or a woman cannot drive. But if I look for a particular role model, there is nobody. My only competition is me with myself. And especially because I'm at that age where competing with younger generation makes me a little more I would say, focus towards my race, because my reflexes would definitely be a wee bit not that sharp as what a youngster's would be. So my focus is much more there. So my competition is always with myself.
Yeah, just proving it. Age is just a number, and you need to up your
Yeah.
game.
Yes.
You've had a lot of success, but I'm sure there would have been at times when failure also dogged you. Can you relate the biggest failure that you had up to now, And how is it that you got over it?
Yes, there are, I think, failures with every rally driver. They face that when mostly your car gives way in between a rally and you have really prepared for it and you are aiming to finish the race well. So I would really say my biggest regret is Raid the Himalaya. Twice I was unable to complete it. The first go which I did, I finished it well and was also winner in the ladies class. But the next two rallies which I did, Raid the Himalaya, both times my car broke down, my gypsy broke down somewhere midway and I was unable to finish. And those are one of my biggest regrets that I could not finish Raid the Himalaya. But yes, whenever the next opportunity comes to do Raid the Himalaya, I will definitely be doing it again.
And the determination that you show in your voice, we are sure you will be beating it and we'll be cheering you for that.
Thank you. Hope so.
In your opinion, what needs to be done to make this sport high profile for more girls to take it up? And is there money in the sport to make it a viable career option?
Uh, Let me answer you in such a way. It is a sport which is more of a passion right now. Career options in India for motorsports are extremely limited. You can just play it as a sport without thinking of earning out of it anything at all. Though we have started to get some sponsorship from corporates, but that is extremely limited and uh, even to the male drivers. So for the female drivers, it's next to nil. But I would also say to promote motorsports with the girls, there needs to be a dedicated effort, which our federation has started to bring it to the forefront for promoting women in motorsports. And our chairperson for women in motorsports, Ms. Sita Raina, she is doing a lot of work to amplify this and bring more girls into the sport, bring more young blood into the sport. And with their efforts, with the federation's effort, that is the Federation of Motorsports Clubs of India, that is what we call the FMSCI, they are definitely giving it a push. And across the world also, a lot of push for women in motorsports is happening. So I think very soon, within the few coming years, we'll have more women joining in, and that would definitely give more push to the sport and get more corporates to come and sponsor us, especially the women. So I think overall the picture is improving and more women will be joining the sport. They are already joining. When I started, there were just a few couple of us, maybe 4 or 5 of us, but now we have nearly 100 women in various formats of motorsports, whether it's biking or it's four-wheelers. So that is a very healthy, good sign for the sport.
That's good. That's good. That's nice to know.
Yeah.
On the eve of Women's Day, what is your message to the women folk of India?
First of all, I would like to wish all the women a very happy Women's Day. And I would just say to you is the journey for you begins when you are ready for it. So the awakening has to come from within you, that now this is what I want to do. My focus is clear. And with or without somebody's support, I'm ready to start it. So please have faith in yourself, have faith in your ideas, in your dreams. Look forward to the next step. There will be a lot of roadblocks, but that does not mean that your next step cannot happen. You have to open your wings to fly. It is extremely important to believe in yourself. So please have faith, start your journey. Nothing is impossible, and age is never a factor. Age is just a number. Happy Women's Day to all of us.
That's quite inspiring, and thank you very much. And I'm sure everyone will appreciate that.
Thank you.
My last question to you before I hand over to my co-host Deepak and the general public for some comments or questions that they have. When you hang up your boots, what is the legacy you want to leave behind?
When I hang up my boots, I want people to remember, yes, there was a woman who trailblazed and opened the doors for more women to shine and race.
That's great. That's great. You're already blazing a great trail, and we are sure you will do very, very well. Now I hand over to Deepak. Deepak, please take it forward.
Thank you, Premraj. I'm just reading out the list of a few of the achievements of Vani. First woman to win a second position in the IRC Rally du Nord. First Indian woman to drive a Formula 4 car at the Yas Marina track in Abu Dhabi. First woman to win an overall third position in the National Autocross Championship 2016 above 1650cc. First Indian woman to be awarded an Indian International Doctorate in Motorsports. First woman to win the Asia Cup of IRC in the women's category in 2015. First woman rally driver to be felicitated with one of the highest honor in Indian motorsports. She won the Outstanding Woman in Motorsports for rallying in 2016 by the Federation of Motorsports Club of India. And there's more. Why isn't Pani Yadav more famous? Just like a Sachin Tendulkar, a Deepika Padukone, or why aren't we reading more about Bani? Why aren't we searching more about Bani online? Where is the gap, do you think, Bani?
I would just say, since motorsport is still predominantly a very niche sport, very few women here, any other sport gets. So it is just a matter of time when motorsports looks recognized. And I'm sure there will be more coverage of motorsports, and it will have help more people to get recognized, not only Bani, but other people also in the sport to get recognized. And with the ministry making it proper sport and giving it recognition, I'm sure the journey has just started, the doors have just opened, and a lot of more motorsport people will be talked about.
Okay, so let's hope things happen the way you think they will happen. Let's wish for the best. Now,
Yes,
you schooled in the Army Public School, right?
right.
What is it with these girls from Army Public School who really go and make something out of their life? What is with the school? Is it with the school? Is it with the teachers? Is it with the students? I mean, many celebrities somehow invariably end up, having been educated at Army Public School. Tell us a little bit about that.
I think my schooling is what has made me what it is today. And I would just say there is that strong charisma of the school and the teachers. We are always so charged up to perform, to be able to beat the blues, to do something different. And I think the since it's the Army Public School, the Army in itself brings so much discipline. It brings a focus to you. And I think all of us who've passed out of it carry that one discipline, focus, which I think other school students might not have it the way the Army does it for us. And the teachers in itself, most of them are also from the Army background. They are Army officers' wives and all. So the legacy is all around for us. And when you are all the time encompassed in this kind of environment, there is nothing which can stop you. It will bring out the best in each one of us. And I think that is the dedication of our teachers who try and persevere to bring out the best in each and every student. They do not let your hand go. They ensure that they bring you to the finish line. And
Yeah.
I think all of us who have passed out of Army Public School will always be grateful to our teachers, our schooling, for what we all have become.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said. Well said. Thank you so much. Now, you said that you actually thought about it when you were 13, but you started when you were 43. It was a gap of 30 years. And it is said that if you want to excel in anything in life, you've got to give those 10,000 hours to whatever you do. Where and how did you give your 10,000 hours? Or you were lucky enough not to have given 10,000, maybe 3,000 or 4,000 hours, and then you made it.
Yes, my gap from thinking of being a rally driver to becoming a rally driver was a 30 long year wait. But I must also say, during those 30 years, there was not even one day when I did not drive. The only thing was that I was not on a rally circuit, I was not racing, but my passion for driving was always there. So I'm sure I have given more than those 10,000 hours to become a rally driver. 30 years
Yeah.
I've been driving, and it is entirely credit to my husband for it, because without his support, I would not have reached to this pinnacle where I have come. He always ensured that my dreams are fulfilled. I have a car, whatever I had asked for, he ensured that it was there. In fact, let me also tell you, when we got married, we were not very well off. So he made a small list, which was his checklist, and he used to tick mark, okay, so now this is what we have achieved. And he always ensured that that small checklist was always there in his purse. He carried it for many, many, many years with him till it actually got torn. But yes, it has been a very, very enriching journey. And when I look back, I'm always grateful for all the people who have touched me through this journey with their thoughts, with their ideas, with their inspirations, their motivations, and have enriched me in whatever way possible.
So you mentioned your husband twice in the last 40 minutes, and you have two children. Let us tell us a little bit more about your family.
Yeah. So, yes, like I told you, my husband is my rock solid pillar. I have two sons, and both of them are also racers. In fact, my younger son, he represents Team India in the Asia Auto Gymkhana format, and he himself is one of the very, very good drivers in the current breed of drivers. And I'm sure he has a long way also to go and achieve a lot of things. But yes, I can very safely say, in whole, we are a racing family. So my husband also races, though he does very limited events, but all of us carry that passion of racing and rallying. And I think when you have the speed in the house all the time talked about, all of us imbibe that passion together, and we all enjoy the sport together.
Yeah, the legacy continues.
Yes.
Yes. So tell us the difference between when you are driving in, say, a mountain, a Himalayan race, and the difference when you are doing a circuit where you are, just completing rounds and rounds and rounds of just a defined, stadium or a place where you keep on driving continuously. How is it different?
So both the rallies are totally different formats, and both have their own challenges. But yes, if I particularly talk about Raid the Himalaya, it is one of the toughest rallies of the world. It is considered among one of the toughest rallies of the world, and it is at one of the highest altitudes which that rally is run at. When you're racing in the mountains in uncharted territory where there are no roads, you are basically running on boulders and riverbeds and abandoned tracks. It is definitely a very, very dangerous situation because you are at very high levels of altitude, and one slip and you can be down the mountain. So the challenges are different, and the rally spread over multiple number of days. And obviously, your vehicle is also taking a lot of beating. Your service team is working round the clock to ensure that your car is up and running, and it is ready for the next stage. So the challenges are many, many fold. Your mental stamina also has to be really up all the time, because it's not only about your physical stamina, but also your emotional and mental stamina, which counts. Because it is a very, very taxing rally, physically, emotionally, mentally, and obviously for the vehicle also. So the challenges are many, many fold in a long duration rally, which is spread over 2000, 3000 kilometers. So that you need to cover between 4 to 5 days. You are racing on boulders and you have to cover 3000 kilometers in 4 days, 5 days. So your concentration levels have to be always high. You might be racing for completely 8 hours in a day, so the concentration level has to be always perfect, impeccable. Whereas when you do a track event where you are running in the same enclosed area, you learn to memorize the track also, and you try and modify your techniques on the ground itself, because you know, okay, I made that mistake at that corner, so my memory will make me change my tactics at that particular area, so that I go faster, or I do not miss something. So the challenge here is again also to memorize that track and to avoid any mistakes, uh, do things on the track itself to go faster, right? So every rally or a race has different challenges, formats, and yes, it does become monotonous when you are in a closed circuit area, because not only you, your competitors are also memorizing the track, and they are also improvising there and then how to improve their timings, like you are doing. So it's a challenge for all of us. Whereas in a cross country, you're really not memorizing. You really don't know what is coming up next. So there, that basic difference lies. But yes, I would say both are challenging in their own fields, but I would definitely love to be doing a cross country rally than a closed circuit event.
Yeah, the challenge is a little different in the rally in the open mountain place. Yeah.
Correct.
Now in these tracks, in these close places, cars go really, really fast, and you get to see spectacular accidents, if you can call them. You
Yes.
know, invariably, you find the driver comes out unscathed. Very rarely. Of course, there have been accidents and people have died. We know that. Tell us the sort of precautions and the security, the cover you are taking for yourself when you enter the vehicle, so that when an accident like this happens, you are safe.
If I talk of a cross country rally, our vehicles are, it's mandatory that we have a roll cage inside the vehicle. So it's basically bars which encompass the whole car from inside, so that in case of an accident, even though the outer body might crumble, but the roll bars inside, they will protect you. Besides that, we have specific rally seats which are designed for the rallies, so that the safety is there. So when you are in a rally seat, there are seat belts which are again specifically for the rallies. So they can be a 6 pointer rally belt, or a 4 pointer, and they help you to be really tied, literally glued to your seat. Besides that, we wear rally suits, which are fire retardant, our shoes, our gloves, and we wear helmets. So, in case of an accident, we are actually very, very safe because of the roll cage, or because of the seats and the seat belts, which really hold us very, very tight. You can hardly even pass one finger between the seatbelt and your body. It's that tight. So we are always safe, and safety is the first aspect of any rally. So that is the first check which happens when we are scrutiny happens for the car. And likewise for all rallies, safety aspect can never be undermined. All of us ensure that all our equipment, our helmets, our shoes, rally gear, everything is in place. And that is also the reason why, in case of an accident, we come out unscathed. Yes, like you said, there are accidents which can be turned critical also. But all in all, our safety aspects are always very important, and they help to save us from any injuries.
Having done all this, taken all the security precautions, I'm sure there's always a thought when you enter a race that this could be my last race, if something were to go wrong. How do you shake off that mentality? How do you convince yourself, yeah, this could happen to anyone. This is my race. I need to focus over here. I need to win. How do you do that?
I think it is true for all drivers. When we have chosen to be in a sport like this, we initially only know that yes, it's a very dangerous sport and anything can happen. And I think it's true for most of the extreme sports which happen across the globe. And when a person chooses to be in an extreme sport, they have already conquered their fears. That is how they have chosen this sport. So it's a very rare instance that you get a feeling, a jittery feeling before a race. Um, uh, I think mostly all of us just focus on that particular race and the finish line. We really don't let our thoughts wander here and there, because you cannot afford to be not focused at that particular time. And that is the crux of winning a race. So I think I do not let any such thought come to my mind. For me, reaching the finish line is most important thing. And when I am ready for a race, I go and sit in my car at least half an hour before the start of my leg or my stage, so that I am in sync with my car. My thoughts are all composed, and I am ready for taking up that lap.
Yeah. And there is this one question, I mean, which has just come up when we were talking. In cricket, if a player's bat is spoiled, he can change his bat. If the ball goes out of shape, you can change the ball. In tennis or in badminton, if your thread of the racket snaps, you can change your racket. If your vehicle fails, can you change your vehicle and say, now I will continue my race in this next vehicle?
No, for racing, that does not happen. If your vehicle breaks down, you have a problem, you are out for good. So there ends your rally, there ends your dream of winning that particular race or rally. And it can be very, very demotivating, depressing, because a lot of effort goes to get your car ready to actually be at the start line. There's a lot of money also which is involved in preparation of your car to be there on time. A lot of support teams are also there involved. So there is nothing which you can do if your car actually is in an unrepairable condition. But if there is like another day which is happening in the rally, and there is time for you to repair your car, that option is available. But if you can get it done in time, then you are good to take a start the next day or the next lap. But mostly you are out.
Yeah. You get to see a lot of this during those track races where after so many tracks, that car comes, there are 8 people ready. Suddenly in 2 minutes, they will change all the four wheels. They will do the oiling. They will do this, that, checking, and the car is, ready to fire and go. That is allowed, correct?
Yes, that is allowed for the Formula cars. for the formula races. In the pit stop, the complete team is there. But for these races, yes, our service teams are always also there. We get a particular number of hours or time duration to repair our cars or get something checked. But that is spaced out after a particular stage, and would there be a service team available at the end of that stage or not? So there are a lot of ifs and buts to this format of rallying which I pursue. The formula racing, I really do not pursue that. And for this, your service teams are a complete set of team of about 5 to 6 people, which have spare parts and various other things ready for the car if there is a breakdown. So yes, speed is what matters even for the service team.
Now, a lot of glamour is associated with speed and car racing. And if you Google women car drivers, a lot of glamorous young women show up, from the US, from Europe. What is that association with glamour and speed? I mean, do you think there is something like that, or it's just something which is being made up?
There is definitely some kind of glamour which is there with this speed and all. And I think most of us are enthralled by fast cars and people coming out in their rally suits with their helmets.
Yes.
It gives you a very macho feel, right?
Yes.
And on top of that, if a woman comes out, takes out her helmet, it gives you even a better image. It does give a very glamorous image and a very high kind of regard for that person. Yes, I would say there is a little bit of glamour, but it is more of sweat and hard work and a lot of efforts which take for a person, whether a woman or a man, to be there. And it's not all hunky dory. There are a lot of back end issues which happen for a person to be actually sitting in the rally car and racing. So what meets the eye is not always the factor. There is a lot of effort which goes behind it. So I can just say glamour is just one side of the story, one side of the coin. The other side is quite different.
Yeah. And since we are talking about a lot goes on, in the back end, tell us a little bit about how you keep yourself fit and fine. There are physical sports, there is athletics where clearly you need to keep yourself fit and fine. In a sport like this, how do you manage? What do you need to do?
Physical fitness is very, very important for this sport also, because definitely weight is a factor. The heavier you become, your car will also definitely become heavier to maneuver, right? And the faster your car is, the better it is. So weight reduction, we all try and do, not only for ourselves, but also for our vehicles. So when we are in a closed circuit track, we try and take off the weight by taking out the spare wheel, right? So we try and see what all we can remove so that there is less of weight, so the car is faster. Yes, for preparation and all, a lot of things go into it. And you need to ensure that your own physical fitness is always good. So like I do a regular walk in the morning. I have a lot of dogs, like you said in the beginning. So I take them out individually in the morning for a walk. So my walk is like for 1 hour brisk walk, which I do. And that helps me to keep fit. And I try to keep myself calm and composed, because that is very, very important. You cannot panic during your race, because you will definitely end up making some mistakes. So you need to always be composed and try and evaluate the situation in a very healthy manner, and make sure that your emotional and physical, mental stability is of the highest level. This is a very taxing sport. Extreme sports is a very, very taxing sport. And I think all of us try and maintain some kind of healthy regime so that we are all fit. Every driver has their own ways of staying fit. But for me, a brisk walk is what I do every morning for 1 hour.
Yeah. And you mentioned extreme sports, right? And we hear a lot about doping in a lot of other physical sports. Is there any element of doping which happens over here, or are you tested, or there is no point in actually doing it because of what you do?
Doping in motorsports is a very, very rare thing because it can make you groggy, and you can't be groggy at all, because it's all about focus. So I've really never heard of motorsport people ever being involved in any kind of doping across the world. And it's a very focused sport. You have to be alert at all times, and your attention span has to be like perfect, even whether the race is for 5 minutes or it's long drawn out for 8 hours. So in every format of motorsports, you cannot be involved in any kind of doping.
Yeah, you can't take that risk. Yeah, correct.
No, you can't take that risk.
So, what would you say to a young girl, a teen, who's listening to you either on this program or on Facebook and is inspired by you to take up motor racing as a career, not only as a part time sport? What would you tell her?
I would just really motivate her. I would say, yes, take up motorsports because that's an expression of yourself. For me, motorsports is again an expression of myself. That is my extended personality. So if a girl chooses to take up motorsports, it's your extended personality. Go get it, girl. And if you are looking for it to be your career, be very, very persistent in your graph of performing well. It doesn't matter if you win or not, but your performance consistency has to be there. And do not give up if you lose one or two races. There are always wins and losses. You have to learn, you have to evaluate yourself and take up the next challenge as if, again, it's your last challenge. So always be ready to take up more and more challenges. Money will come, but it will take its time. So ensure that you keep performing so that people notice you. Only when you are getting noticed will sponsors come. So it is a wide arena. It is yet to be explored. Explore it.
Yeah. And as you said, there is this song which says, no, जिंदगी की यही रीत है, हार के बाद ही जीत है. So there will
Absolutely.
be always downs, and the jeet will come only after the har.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It comes the hard way.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm just reading this question from Rishika Inamdar, and this is a good question to ask. You said you are a rally driver, your husband drives, your son also drives. This question by Rishika is: has Vani ever competed with her kids or her husband?
Yes, so let me tell you, my husband and my sons have always been my competitors on the track. And I choose to ignore that I know them. On the tracks, for me, they are just my competitors. There are no
Uh,
no such thing as family on the tracks. And
yeah.
I do not even talk to them when I am competing with them because it will definitely deviate my thoughts. And
Yes,
my younger
yes.
son is my biggest competitor. There have been so many races where we are competing against each other. Even today, we are competing against each other. So it is
Yeah.
great fun to be competing with your own children and your husband. And, it makes you feel happy and elated also that you are able to do that kind of sport where the whole family is competitors to each other. So the
Yeah.
learnings and happiness is many, many folds.
Yes, yes, yes. Competing with friends and family and winning is
Yes,
altogether a different feeling. Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, yes, yes. Vani, I must say before I close and I hand it over to Premraj, just the opportunity of being with you in the same frame. Somebody who's been there, done that, somebody who is a hero, somebody who's achieved a lot, starting at 43 and deciding I want to follow my passion. It's been an honor and a absolute pleasure talking to you, asking you questions, listening to your answer and enjoying, a really good laugh at the end of it. I would like to open up the forum for participants if they would like to ask questions, and then Prem Raj could take it over.
Deepak, can I ask a question?
Oh, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So one is very interesting. I think it transported me back into my early school days. I still remember the news coverage of the 1980 Himalayan rally. I think if Bani would be aware of that, but that was the first time this was organized, and there was a lot of buzz in newspapers. My question is, I have not seen that buzz afterwards. I think that rally was also a lot of protests organized politically, a lot of stone throwings, and I still remember the person who won. I have not googled him anytime after, but there was a guy called Shekhar Mehta who finally won the rally after some 45 days and again some 5,000 kilometers of rally. So it just transported me back into those times when I used to follow that sport. Somehow, one is my question: why isn't that sport now given all that publicity which it was given earlier? And my second question is, does the car make a difference? Because when I also clearly remember he used to drive an Opel, and I would never see somebody being very fascinated by an Opel, though there was a Mercedes also, and there were a lot of cars at that time. We were fascinated by the names of the cars because they were just not there in India. Now with all the cars
Yeah.
freely available, so is it that if you drive a high-end version of a high-end car versus somebody having a slightly lower-end version, would that make a difference in a longer form of a rally?
Abhijit, I would say yes, the car definitely makes a difference. How well your car is made, that is one thing when we look at how the vehicle performs. Secondly, the category where you enter. So let's
Oh,
say if I'm driving a Gypsy and somebody is driving a Fortuner, definitely the power is different.
yes,
But then
yes.
also having said that, they are put in different categories. So I
Fine.
would be driving in maybe a 1350cc category, and the Fortuner would be in a 2000 above cc category.
Okay, fine,
Yes,
fine.
in a overall category, if I see, I would stand to lose because my power of a Gypsy would be much lower than a Fortuner or let's say Isuzu in terms of the capabilities of taking on the beating of the mountains or taking on the speed. So I would not feature anywhere in the top in overall positions, but I would feature in my overall category.
Yes.
So yes, the car does make a lot of difference how what car you are driving. And as far as you said that there is no coverage of motorsports, yes, there has been limited coverage of motorsports. Like I said earlier, motorsports has never been considered a main sport. It's a very very niche kind of sport, and till now it's been considered a sport of the elite class. So people who can really splurge on their vehicles and throw around a lot of money. But the scenario is changing. Slowly it is changing, and the sport is gaining momentum and picking up. And the media has also started to cover it, even though in a little bit, but not so much. But I'm sure this, with the changing scenario, more importance will be given to coverage of motorsports, and with the government also recognizing it as a main sport, it will get its place in the sun.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Just one question which came to me when you said, how important is the part of mental toughness in this, in a driver? So it does one is the car aspect, one is the driving skill, and third, when I put a mental toughness, how would you relate mental toughness to this?
I think one of the very, very important things for a rally driver, racer is mental health. You have to be really, really strong mentally because it's a very challenging sport. It takes a lot of toll on you emotionally. You have to be very stable and calm because one mistake, if you go overboard, you are overexcited, you are over aggressive on the tracks, it can lead to you breaking down your car, having an accident, going into an overdrive, and eventually not being able to finish the rally. So you have to be very, very stable mentally, very strong mentally. I mentioned that earlier also, that it is a very, very important factor for a rally driver.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhijit.
Dr. Rao.
Dr. Rupani, it is fantastic. Nice to hear your views and sharing your experiences. And many times during the sharing your story, you mentioned about age, late age. I agree with you, but still I don't agree with you. And I agree, yes, people say that 43 is something, 47 is something, okay, let them talk whatever they want to talk. And you have made India proud.
Thank you,
God
Dr.
bless you.
Rao. Thank you so much.
God bless you.
Thank you.
I have a
Dr.
question.
Rao is the youngest member and he is our number one supporter of Bloom. So Dr. Rao has attended all the programs which Bloom has had in the last 6 months.
Wow.
Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Vani, see, we have this organization for cricket. There is a Sports Authority of India takes care of many of the trainings of different fields. Is there anything for motorsports in India? I have not heard of it. Is there any?
Yes,
If so, where is it?
we have a complete federation. It is called the Federation of Motorsports Clubs of India, which is affiliated to the FIA, which is the international governing body for all motorsports across the world. So that federation has been in place for more than, I think, 40 years now, and they govern all motorsport events. So every event, every driver has to be licensed from them before we can take part into any event.
You said once the vehicle breaks down, end of story. That's what you are saying. Before you
Correct.
enter into a competition, should you register your vehicle, which vehicle you are going to use?
Yes, so we have a complete registration process. We have a complete scrutiny process which happens. So when I want to take part, let's say in a race, I will have to give the complete documentation of my vehicle, which will include the RC, the insurance, and then there will also be a pollution certificate. All those mandatory things have to be given. My driver's license will need to be given. My federation driving license also needs to be given, which the federation issues for a rally driver. And besides that, there is a scrutiny which happens for the vehicle for the security aspect, the safety aspect. So our rally seats, our roll cages, our seat belts, fire extinguishers, our medical box, all those things are also inspected, and that is when we get a scrutiny okay sticker, which allows us then to take that particular car for the race.
Now,
So-
race car, sorry,
Yeah.
can you use race car for your normal work? Is it allowed?
Yes. So what happens is for particular races like the autocross formats, for a novice category, you can use your own cars which you use on the roads at your homes. So let's say you want to use a Brezza, you want to use a Polo, you want to use a Baleno, you want to use a Fortuner. So various categories you are allowed to do that, but that is only for a particular format of the racing. So generally the autocross formats.
Thank you so much.
Let me read out some of the comments that have come in. Mr. Reyes Patil says, really a great achievement by her. Today's session is inspiring not only to women, but to all of us general for this adventurous career in racing. God bless Bani. Thank you, Mr. Reyes Patil. And then Arvind Bandivadekar says, very inspiring journey. Thank you, Arvind. Then we have lots of comments from Dr. Jagannath Rao, which he has. And then we have Harsha Garg saying, one needs mental toughness for driving even in the crowded roads of Delhi, driving in metros.
True. Very true.
and then Shalini Mehta wants to know what are the speeds that you race at?
Again, various formats have different speeds to it. So when I was at the Yasparina track, so I was over 200 kilometers per hour, and that is a very high speed for a Formula car. But obviously, it was a Formula 4 car. For Formula 1 car, the speeds are much, much higher. But yes, I would say above 200 kilometers is the highest which I've gone.
If anyone else has any more questions or queries, you can unmute and ask.
Harsha.
Yeah, so actually, no questions. It was so mesmerizing to listen to Bani and her achievements. I am someone who actually doesn't drive. I've learned driving thrice and I've given up. I'm like, I can't drive.
So, Harsha, it's time to take training.
So
Come
it's
join
like
me.
completely opposite, really listening to a woman who is driving, who is formula race and all. And here I am, I'm so scared of the traffic and every damn thing. So it's just mesmerizing. So
Thank you so
thoroughly
much.
enjoying the talk. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Bunny, just
Thank you.
one question on this to what Harsha said. So even my wife, she knows how to drive a car very well, but somehow she doesn't drive. Now, what is and I've seen some women who drive exceedingly well. So I've seen two extremes when it comes to women. Either they drive actually very well, and at the second time they're afraid to drive. I don't know why. Any you could give.
I'll give you my thought process, my view to that. You
Yes, yes.
see, what happens is since we are such a male dominated society, and the male drivers really think their cars are very precious, right? And they don't want it to be scratched, hit, accidented, any which way. So they know their wives can drive well, but they say, Nene, you don't know how to drive it. You will go and bang it. You will hit somebody. You will not be able to put the brakes, right? So that is where this differentiation happens, and the women, even though they are good drivers, they get scared. So let me also tell you, when my husband is sitting with me in the car, he will say, "Kya kar rahi ho? It is." So that happens even today, irrespective.
एक घर
So I
घर
choose
घर
to
की
do
कहानी है घर घर की कहानी है
And this
So
is the truth. Actually, I could relate again. It was my brother and my father long back, 15 years back. I have my license 15-year-old.
yeah.
But I'm like, क्या कर रही हो तुम? ये करो वो. I'm like, मैं नहीं चला रही हूँ.
So I think that is the primary reason why women choose not to drive. They say, "Okay, you only do it."
I think
Dr. Bani,
they
Yes.
get better drivers like their husbands.
Yeah.
Dr. Bani,
Yes, Dr.
equally you get the support of that type from wife also.
Yeah.
When I drive, my wife says, "Why are you driving so fast?" so that mental feed is available from both genders.
True. I
So it is
agree with
not
you.
limited to anybody. That's
Yes,
it.
I think even I do that to my husband. When he is driving fast, I also tell him, "What are you doing?" So I think yes. So that is one of the reasons I think primarily the women choose not to drive, because they don't want to be dictated at every step. Now you change the gear. Now you put the brake. What are you doing? Take left, take right. So even though they are good drivers, they say, "Okay, this is your baby. Do it."
Finally, you end up in the vehicle with two drivers, one with
Yes.
the steering wheel, one without steering wheel.
Yes.
That's what Ashalata Pramod says. Very true. There should be just one driver in the car.
Yes.
True. Yes.
Great session.
Just one question again out of this. Interesting one is, see, when your husband drives, you can drive. Your children also drive. So when you go out in your car, who drives actually?
So if it is only
Awesome.
between me and my husband when we are going out, so it's definitely me. And when we go out as a family, then it's one of the sons who drives. So then I take a back seat and I enjoy.
That happens when we are also going there. The children basically drive the car. Yeah.
Yeah. So when it's a family of drivers, racers, then it's like Ina Mina Mina Mo.
If there are any more questions,
Is there an age limit for becoming a race driver?
Absolutely not. There is no age limit for becoming a driver or a rally driver. I think, one person who can very safely say that I took it up at an age where most of the sport persons retire. They choose to leave their sports and take a back seat. So I'm now nearly 50, and I think I've still not decided to hang my boots.
Don't hang.
Yeah.
Don't hang your boots.
Yes.
Before Premraj closes, I think Payal.
Yeah. So thank you, Baniji, for gracing Bloom platform, and thank you, beautiful audiences, for being here on the eve of Women's Day. So, Happy Women's Day to all of you, to your family, to the men in your family, and thank you again for being here. What else I can do? I can say, Baniji, it's priceless. These moments are very priceless, and my feelings for you, my respect for you is growing day by day, and God bless you and your family. So one thing, when I started driving, my father was the one who pushed me to drive after my 10th standard. So I started learning and started driving. He was that time, he when I passed my 10th, he bought me a Maruti 800. Until almost 20 years, I drove that car, and then I shifted to another car. So my younger sister, she is still scared. I tried to teach her. So at the end, she has given up and she says, I will keep a chauffeur. I don't want to be a driver. These are the excuses. It's घर की कहानी और SD.
I know. But thank you, Payalji, and thank you, Dr. Rao, and thank you, Deepak ji and Premraj ji. Thank you so much for having me here. It's been a pleasure to be on the Bloom platform and to be speaking with all the Bloomers, and to have so many people asking questions. And it's really great to be interacting with all of us here. And wishing everyone a very happy Women's Day. Behind, like they say, behind every successful man, there is a woman. But I very safely say that behind every successful woman, there is always a man. Because without their support, we are incomplete. So thank you, all of you, and Jai Hind.
Thank you,
Premraj.
Bani. Yeah, thank you, Bani, for those kind words. Very, very inspiring.
Thank you.
And we would like to thank you for your time and raising us through your life's journey.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Feel like we were in the navigator's seat as you crossed the tracks.
Yes, thank you.
We are now more conscious of the trials and tribulations that a racing driver goes through before a podium finish.
True.
Wishing you all the very best in your quest for glory. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you. Thank you to all of you. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.